Hey, hi guys, in today's lesson we're going to see how to order food at a restaurant, so let's start. Alright, so let's talk about the people who are going to attend us at a restaurant, okay? If that is a guy, man, then we have to say waiter, waiter, okay? That means mesero, mesero. Now, if we're talking about a girl, lady, then we have to say waitress, waitress, okay? In Spanish, mesera, mesera. Also, we can call them young man, okay? That means joven, joven. If the guy is not so young, then you can call him just mesero. Now, if we're talking about a lady, a girl, waitress, then we also can call her señorita, señorita. That means ma'am or miss, okay? So if we're talking about a boy, you can call him mesero or joven. If you are talking about a girl, then you can call her mesera or señorita. Now, if you're finally at a restaurant, then the waiter or the waitress are going to ask you, are you ready to order? Okay. If you are a girl, in Spanish, they will ask you this question. ¿Está lista para ordenar? ¿Está lista para ordenar? That means, are you ready to order, okay? But you are having lista, ready, if you are referring to a girl. Now, if you are a boy, then the waiter or waitress will ask you, ¿está listo para ordenar? ¿Está listo para ordenar? Okay, if they are saying lista, girl. Listo, boy, man. Now, if the waiter or waitress are talking about a group of girls, then they will ask you this question. ¿Están listas para ordenar? ¿Están listas para ordenar? Okay, remember, singular. ¿Está lista para ordenar? Only one girl. Plural form. ¿Están listas para ordenar? Okay. Now, if you're a group of boys only or boys and girls mixed, then they are going to ask you, ¿están listos para ordenar? ¿Están listos para ordenar? Okay, so remember, they are going to use listas, plural form, only girls. Listos, plural form, boys and girls mixed or only boys. If you are not ready yet, then you have to say not yet. That means in Spanish, no todavía. No todavía. But if you're ready, then you have to say, if you are a girl, yes, I'm ready in English, okay? But in Spanish, you have to say, sí, estoy lista. Sí, estoy lista, if you're a girl. Now, if you are a boy, there's no difference in English, okay? You have to say, yes, I'm ready to. But in Spanish, you have to say, sí, estoy listo. Sí, estoy listo. Okay, if you're a girl, sí, estoy lista. If you're a boy, sí, estoy listo. Now, if we're talking about a group of boys or boys and girls mixed, then we have to say, yes, we're ready in English, okay? But in Spanish, we have to say, sí, estamos listos. Sí, estamos listos. Now, if we're talking about a group of girls only, then we have to say, sí, estamos listas. Sí, estamos listas. Okay, that means, yes, we're ready. Now, to say I want, in Spanish, we have to say yo quiero, and then immediately after that, the stuff you want, okay? The food you want. But also in Spanish, we can omit, delete, remove the personal pronoun, okay? So you also can say quiero, and then immediately the food you want, okay? So long version, yo quiero, and the stuff you want. Short version, quiero, and the stuff you want, okay? Now also there's a long version for saying we want and then the food we want, okay? If we are talking about a group of boys, okay, or boys and girls mixed, then we have to say nosotros queremos and then the food you want, okay? Nosotros queremos, okay? But if we're talking about a group of girls, only girls, then we have to say nosotras queremos, and the stuff we want, okay? But we also can omit and remove the personal pronouns for having a shorter version, okay? So also we can say queremos and the food we want, okay? So we're going to use in this case the short versions, okay? Quiero, queremos. Now I have created some menus so you can choose some things, okay? Like if you want a fruit cocktail, then you have to say, I want a fruit cocktail in English, okay? But in Spanish, you have to say, quiero un cóctel de frutas. Quiero un cóctel de frutas. Now, if we're talking about plural, then we have to say, we want a fruit cocktail. That means, queremos un cóctel de frutas. Queremos un cóctel de frutas. Now, if you want some hot cakes, then you have to say, I want some hot cakes, okay? That means, quiero unos hot cakes. Quiero unos hot cakes. Now, in the plural form, we're going to say, we want some hot cakes. That means, queremos unos hot cakes. Queremos unos hot cakes. Now, if you want some traditional dish, we have some chilaquiles in Mexico, okay? Those are fried tortillas with eggs, onions, green sauce, or red sauce, okay? Depending on what you want. It's a little bit hot, so if you are so brave, then you can try it, okay? So, if you want some chilaquiles, if you want to try some chilaquiles, then you can say, quiero unos chilaquiles, okay? That means I want some chilaquiles. Quiero unos chilaquiles. Quiero unos chilaquiles. Now, if we're talking we want some chilaquiles, then we have to say, queremos unos chilaquiles. Queremos unos chilaquiles. If the group is wanting the same food, okay? Now, if you want a club sandwich, then you have to say, I want a club sandwich in English, okay? In Spanish, you have to say, quiero un club sandwich. Quiero un club sandwich. Now, if we're talking about plural, we want a club sandwich, then you have to say, queremos un club sandwich. Queremos un club sandwich. Now, if you want some boiled eggs, then you have to say, I want some boiled eggs in English, okay? But in Spanish, you have to say, quiero unos huevos hervidos. Quiero unos huevos hervidos, okay? Now, if we're talking about plural, we want some boiled eggs, then you have to say in Spanish, queremos unos huevos hervidos. Queremos unos huevos hervidos. Now, if you want a vegetable omelette, then you have to say, I want a vegetable omelette, okay? In Spanish, you have to say, quiero un omelette de verduras. Quiero un omelette de verduras. Now, if we're talking about plural, then you have to say, we want a vegetable omelette, okay? In Spanish, we're going to say, queremos un omelette de verduras. Queremos un omelette de verduras. Now, if you want a cheese omelette, then you have to say, I want a cheese omelette, okay? In English. In Spanish, you have to say, quiero un omelette de queso. Quiero un omelette de queso. Now in plural form, we have to say, we want a cheese omelette, okay? That means, queremos un omelette de queso. Queremos un omelette de queso. Now, if you want some fried eggs, then you have to say, I want some fried eggs, okay? In English. In Spanish, you have to say, quiero unos huevos estrellados. Quiero unos huevos estrellados. Now, if we're talking about plural, we have to say, we want some fried eggs, okay? That means, queremos unos huevos estrellados. Queremos unos huevos estrellados, okay? In Spanish. Now, if you want some tacos, and you have to say, I want some tacos, okay? That means, quiero unos tacos. Quiero unos tacos. Now, if you want to say the same, but in plural, then you have to say, we want some tacos. Okay, that means, queremos unos tacos. Queremos unos tacos. Now, if you want a vegetable soup, then you have to say, I want a vegetable soup. Okay, that means, quiero una sopa de verduras. Quiero una sopa de verduras. And in the plural form, we want a vegetable soup. That means, queremos una sopa de verduras. Queremos una sopa de verduras. Now, if you just want a salad, then you have to say, I want a salad, okay? That means, quiero una ensalada. Quiero una ensalada in Spanish, okay? Now, if we want to talk about plural, then you have to say, we want a salad in English, okay? That means in Spanish, queremos una ensalada. Queremos una ensalada. Now, if you want a pizza, then you have to say, I want a pizza in English, okay? But in Spanish, you have to say, quiero una pizza. Quiero una pizza. Now, if we're talking about plural, then you have to say, we want a pizza. That means, queremos una pizza. Queremos una pizza. Okay? In Spanish. Now, if you want some chicken wings, then you have to say, I want some chicken wings. That means, quiero unas alitas de pollo. Quiero unas alitas de pollo. Now, in the plural form, we want some chicken wings. Then you have to say in Spanish, queremos unas alitas de pollo. Queremos unas alitas de pollo. Now, if you want some grilled chicken breast, then you have to say, I want some grilled chicken breast, okay? In English. In Spanish, you have to say, quiero una pechuga de pollo a la parrilla. Quiero una pechuga de pollo a la parrilla. Now, if we're talking about plural, then we have to say, we want some grilled chicken breast, okay? In Spanish, we're going to say, queremos una pechuga de pollo a la parrilla. Queremos una pechuga de pollo a la parrilla. Now, if you want a beef stick with salad, then you have to say, I want a beef stick with salad in English, okay? In Spanish, you have to say, quiero un bistec de res con ensalada. Quiero un bistec de res con ensalada, okay? Now, in plural form, then you have to say, we want a beef stick with salad, okay? That means in Spanish, queremos un bistec de res con ensalada. Queremos un bistec de res con ensalada. Now, if you want a grilled fish with salad, then you have to say, I want a grilled fish with salad, okay? Now, in Spanish, you have to say, quiero un pescado a la parrilla con ensalada. Quiero un pescado a la parrilla con ensalada. Okay? Now, if we're talking about plural, we want a grilled fish with salad, then you have to say, queremos un pescado a la parrilla con ensalada. Queremos un pescado a la parrilla con ensalada. Now, if you want a hamburger with French fries, then you have to say, I want a hamburger with French fries, okay, in English. In Spanish, you have to say, quiero una hamburguesa con papas a la francesa. Quiero una hamburguesa con papas a la francesa. Okay? Now, if we're talking about plural, we have to say, we want a hamburger with French fries. That means, queremos una hamburguesa con papas a la francesa. Queremos una hamburguesa con papas a la francesa. Now, if you want some mashed potatoes, then you have to say, I want some mashed potatoes in English, okay? But in Spanish, you have to say, quiero un puré de papa. Quiero un puré de papa, okay? In the plural form, you have to say, we want mashed potatoes. We want mashed potatoes, okay? That means, queremos un puré de papa. Queremos un puré de papa. Now, if you want a plate of rice with vegetables, then you have to say in Spanish, okay? Quiero un plato de arroz con verduras. That means I want a plate of rice with vegetables, okay? Quiero un plato de arroz con verduras. Quiero un plato de arroz con verduras. Now, if we're talking about plural, then we have to say we want a plate of rice with vegetables, okay? That means in Spanish, queremos un plato de arroz con verduras. Queremos un plato de arroz con verduras. Now, if you want a plate of spaghetti, then you have to say in Spanish, quiero un plato de spaghetti. Quiero un plato de spaghetti. That means I want a plate of spaghetti, okay? Now, if we're talking about plural, we want a plate of spaghetti, then we have to say in Spanish, queremos un plato de spaghetti. Queremos un plato de spaghetti. All right, so now let's talk about the drinks, okay? The waiter or waitress are going to ask you, and of drinking, what do you want? Or what do you want to drink, okay? In Spanish, they're going to say, y de tomar, and of drinking, ¿qué va a querer? What do you want? Okay, that means, ¿qué va a querer? If we are talking about singular, only one person, then the waiter or waitress are going to ask you, y de tomar, ¿qué va a querer? Okay, now if they are talking about plural, if there's a group, then they have to say, y de tomar, ¿qué van a querer? Okay, singular, ¿qué va a querer? One person. Plural, ¿qué van a querer? That's referring to all the group, okay? So, y de tomar, ¿qué va a querer? Singular. Plural, y de tomar, ¿qué van a querer? And now we're going to do the same, okay? We're going to say, I want, and the stuff you want. In this case, the drink you want, okay? In Spanish, we're going to say, quiero, that's the short version, the large version, yo quiero, okay? Now, queremos, short version, or nosotros queremos, or nosotras queremos, okay? Nosotros, group of boys and girls. Nosotras, group of girls only, okay? But the short version is queremos. So we're going to use the short version, okay? Quiero, queremos. Quiero, queremos. And also I have created a menu, so you can ask for this, okay? So if you want orange juice, then you have to say, I want an orange juice in English, okay? In Spanish, you have to say, quiero un jugo de naranja. Quiero un jugo de naranja. Now, if we're talking about plural, we want an orange juice, then we have to say, queremos un jugo de naranja. Queremos un jugo de naranja. Now, if we want an orangeade, then we have to say, I want an orangeade, okay, in English. But in Spanish, you have to say, quiero una naranjada. Quiero una naranjada. Okay, we call orangeade naranjada when we're mixing orange juice with mineral water, okay? So, if we're talking about singular, I want an orangeade, quiero una naranjada. If we're talking about plural, we want an orangeade, then we have to say in Spanish, queremos una naranjada. Queremos una naranjada. Now, if we want a lemonade, then we have to say, I want a lemonade, okay? I want a lemonade. That means, quiero una limonada. Quiero una limonada. Now, if we're talking about plural, we want a lemonade, then we have to say, queremos una limonada. Queremos una limonada. Now, if you just want a glass of plain water, then you can say, quiero un vaso de agua simple. Quiero un vaso de agua simple. That means I want a glass of plain water. Okay? Now, in the plural form, you have to say, we want a glass of plain water. Okay? That means, queremos un vaso de agua simple. Queremos un vaso de agua simple. Generally, the glass of water is filtered, okay? But if you want water from a bottle of water, then you have to say, quiero una botella de agua. That means I want a bottle of water, okay? Quiero una botella de agua. Quiero una botella de agua. Now, if we're talking about plural, then we have to say, we want a bottle of water, okay? That means, queremos una botella de agua. Queremos una botella de agua. Now, if you want a cup of red wine, then you have to say, I want a cup of red wine in English. In Spanish, you have to say, quiero una copa de vino tinto. Quiero una copa de vino tinto. Now, if we're talking about plural, we want a cup of red wine, then we have to say, in Spanish, queremos una copa de vino tinto. Queremos una copa de vino tinto. Now, if you want a bottle of red wine, then you have to say, quiero una botella de vino tinto. That means I want a bottle of red wine. Quiero una botella de vino tinto. Quiero una botella de vino tinto. Now, if we're talking about plural, then we're going to say, we want a bottle of red wine. Okay, that means, queremos una botella de vino tinto. Queremos una botella de vino tinto. Now, if you want a milkshake, then you have to say, I want a milkshake. Okay, that means, quiero una malteada. Quiero una malteada. Now, in the plural form, you have to say, we want a milkshake. That means, queremos una malteada. Queremos una malteada. Now, if you want some soda, then you have to say, I want a soda. That means, quiero un refresco. Quiero un refresco. And in the plural form, you have to say, we want a soda. Okay, that means, queremos un refresco. Queremos un refresco. Now, if you want an American coffee, then you have to say, I want an American coffee in English, okay? But in Spanish, you have to say, quiero un café americano. Quiero un café americano. Okay, that's black coffee, American coffee, okay? Now, if you want to say this in plural, we want an American coffee, then you have to say, queremos un café americano. Queremos un café americano. And now if you want a cappuccino, then you're going to say, I want a cappuccino. That means, quiero un cappuccino. Quiero un cappuccino in Spanish, okay? And the plural form, we want a cappuccino, then you have to say in Spanish, queremos un cappuccino. Queremos un cappuccino. All right, so now let's go to the desserts, okay? So the waiter or the waitress are going to ask you, and of dessert, what do you want? Okay, that means, y de postre, and of dessert, what do you want? ¿Qué va a querer? Okay, remember, singular, one person, ¿qué va a querer? ¿Qué va a querer? Okay, now if we're talking about a group, then the waiter or waitress are going to ask you, ¿qué van a querer? ¿Qué van a querer? Okay, so they're going to ask you, y de postre, ¿qué va a querer? Singular. Plural, y de postre, ¿qué van a querer? If we're talking about a group. And now the same, okay? We have to answer, I want, yo quiero, or only quiero, and the dessert you want, okay? And also the short version is queremos, and then the dessert you want. But also, you know, the long version is nosotros queremos, nosotras queremos, okay? Yo quiero. But we're going to use the short form. Quiero, queremos. All right, so if you want a slice of cake, then you have to say, I want a slice of cake in English. In Spanish, you have to say, quiero una rebanada de pastel. Quiero una rebanada de pastel. Now, in the plural form, you have to say, we want a slice of cake, okay? That means in Spanish, queremos una rebanada de pastel. Queremos una rebanada de pastel. Now, if you want an ice cream, you have to say, I want an ice cream. That means, quiero un helado. Quiero un helado. Now, if we're talking about plural, we want an ice cream, then you have to say, queremos un helado. Queremos un helado. Now, if you want a jelly, then you have to say, I want a jelly. That means, quiero una gelatina. Quiero una gelatina. And in the plural form, you have to say, we want a jelly. That means, queremos una gelatina. Queremos una gelatina. Now, if you want a pudding, then you have to say, quiero un flan. Quiero un flan. That means, I want a pudding. Okay? Quiero un flan. And in the plural form, you have to say, we want a pudding. That means, queremos un flan. Queremos un flan. Now, if you have finished and you want to ask for the bill, the check, then you have to say, could you give me the bill, please? Or, could you give me the check, please? In Spanish, you have to say, ¿podría darme la cuenta, por favor? ¿Podría darme la cuenta, por favor? ¿Podría darme la cuenta, por favor? Okay, that means, could you give me the bill, please? So that would be all for today's lesson. I really hope it helped you. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!